Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya. Okay. Meritorious Dhamma friends, you can keep your hands down. Dear Dhamma friends, so to teach the Buddha's teachings for the people, for the English-speaking community in the world, we decided to start this program today with the help of the volunteers and the supervisors who comes to Sri Lanka to work under SLV Global, and with the help of the management of SLV Global in Sri Lanka, and also the wonderful participants and the wonderful compassionate volunteers who come to Sri Lanka to volunteer the Sri Lankan citizens. So first of all, we appreciate and we warmly welcome you for this monastery to participate for this program, to learn Buddhism, and also to record this sermon and make arrangements for others to learn this wonderful Dhamma out there who's willing to and waiting to learn the Buddha's teachings. So today, as for the first program, I would like to tell a little bit about the Buddha. So we are all gathered here to learn the Buddha's teachings. So a Buddha was born to this world around 2642 years ago in India. And after he was born in a royal family. For 29 years, he lived in the palace. And at the age of 29 years, he decided to give up the royal comfort, whatever the happiness or whatever the joy he had, the entertainment he had in the palace. He decided to give up all those comfort and seek for some happiness that will be lasting, to seek some happiness that will not end with suffering. Now, even listening to songs, even watching movies, after watching to a certain period, we get tired of it. Even songs, after listening for some time, we get tired of it. Even after dancing, we get tired, don't we? There is some gratification, but end up having a backache or pain in the knees. Doesn't it happen? It happens, right? So, and it's always like the happiness is depending on the external side. Like our happiness always depending on someone else from the external world. As long as people do it properly and nicely and according to the way we want, we will feel happy. But then not always people can make us happy and joy. And for happiness in life, the main thing, we need money. Our happiness depend on the wealth, depend on our wealth. So that means if a person is born as poor, if a person is born in a very destitute family, he will suffer a lot. Even if a person is born in a rich family, like in a royal family, as a prince, still he will have incidents where people would not perform the way he wants. So, even for a poor person, even for a rich person, even for a person who is born in a middle class family, everybody's happiness is not lasting. It ends with suffering. Why? That whatever the thing that made you happy, won't it change? Suppose there's a beautiful object. It could be $1,000 worth, it could be $500 worth. It could be a cloth, it could be a pair of shoe, it could be a vehicle. The first day you will delight in it. You will not keep it out. You will not just park here and there. You will park under a shelter. But after a few months, you will park the vehicle anywhere. Then after a few months, when that vehicle get damaged a little bit, what happens? The first two, if you have any scratches, you will fix it. But after some time, it will take some time to fix it. And finally, after using that for a particular period, when you don't see the same beauty in that, and once you have seen that for some time again and again, what happens? The same happiness that you got from the first day out of it, when you compared after some time, that happiness, the same happiness you can't get from that beautiful object. Why is that? The external things are not remaining with the same appearance. Things are changing. And if somebody crashed that vehicle, if somebody knocks on your vehicle, if your vehicle gets damaged, what arises in the mind? Want regret, sadness, and something negative to think, and something that won't you have to think something that worrying your mind. Doesn't it happen? It happens, right? So the things that we consider as pleasant and happiness, we should understand through the Buddha's teachings that nothing is always remaining and giving happiness. Happiness and sadness, that means gratification and danger, are present in everything in this world. So the problem is, when we don't understand this true nature, what happens? As long as things are fine, we are happy. But when things get worse, we get depression. We are not ready to face them with a confident mind. Then sometimes we might take revenge from people. To overcome those problems, we might argue. And sometimes we won't have a good sleep even. Doesn't it happen to people? Huh? Even in the marriage life, they have that. Even in office, they have that. Sometimes, when you go to a job, at the beginning everything is fine, but when the workload gets higher, what happens? When the boss shouts at you, when the customers shout at you, we delight. So that's why even the prince who was born in a palace, he understood that whatever this happiness is not permanent. These things are very temporary. So he wanted to find some happiness internally, without depending from others. Do you understand that? So most of the world, they are trying to gain happiness externally, not internally. Either by seeing something beautiful, listening something nice. How do you say it? Listening something what? Something pleasant. Yeah, maybe listening something pleasant. It could be a music. But see now this danger. If a person has a heartbroken problem, if he listens to a heartbroken song, what will happen to his sadness? Will it increase or decrease? Increase. But don't people still listen to those songs when they have heartbroken problems? That's why. So, so we should really find the real solutions to overcome sadness. If a person have the ability uh, to overcome attachments, he will be, he will not feel lonely. The problem is sometimes we feel lonely when you're alone. Dear Dhamma friends, so the Buddha, the prince, now that was as a prince. At that time, while at the palace, he was just a normal person as a prince. So for 29 years, he was enjoying this royal happiness, whatever the happiness that he had. He enjoyed the delicious food. Then he had always girls to attend to him, all young girls, and even the prince workers who were worked in the royal family, even the workers were given the delicious food. It was meat and with the best rice. So that much the workers had the happiness. What about the prince? And he had 3 palaces for 3 seasons in India. So just imagine a person having so much happiness. He has given up the royal happiness, given up living in a royal family in 3 palaces, and gone to the forest. So the reason for him to leave the palace is he saw 4 signs. We have seen those 4 signs, but that did not make a turning point in our life. This young prince, when he was 29 years, he saw an old person. He saw a sick person. Then on another day, he saw a dead body. And finally, a monk. A monk means, not like living, like a monk means very simple. Like he has shaven the hair and living, even though that monk is willing to live under a tree, even inside a cave. If it is 2 meals, he will depend on 2 meals. Whatever the food he gets, he will have to survive. He have to be happy with that. Because as monks, you have to give up using money. Because the reason that you become monks is to control your desires. Now usually what happens when desires arise in our mind, we always try to fulfill and have happiness, right? It's very difficult to control the desires. Just imagine the nature of the small children. If you were to go with a small child in the road, if from this shop if they see something, they'll ask for that. Then from another shop if they see something, they'll ask for that. Then next day if you take them around, what will happen? They'll ask for something, right? So this problem does not start at the middle age, it starts from the young age. So this goes as a habit until we die. And again, once we are born, we'll have this problem. Now, a lot of divorce cases, why? Not, they all want to fulfill the desires, not controlling. So when you are trained even to live without using money, with the food and to survive with the food whatever the food that you get, and to survive with whatever the shelter that you get, and also to be happy with whatever the medicine you get. If a person can be happy with those least facilities, will there be any loophole for him to experience sadness? No. Why? He is happy with the least. He is happy with the least facilities. So the reason that this prince, he did not see these 4 signs for 29 years, the day the prince was born, the fortune tellers predicted that either he will become a king to the entire world, or else he will leave the palace. Then another fortune teller said, no, he would not become a wheel turning monarch, that means he won't become a king for the entire world. Definitely he will leave the palace. Then the king asked the reason for it. Then the king said, the fortune teller said, another fortune teller said, there were many fortune tellers. So one fortune teller said, the reason, if he sees an old person, a sick person, a dead body or a monk, he will leave the palace. The reason for 29 years he did not leave the palace, the reason was the king made sure that there's no old people, no sick people, no dead bodies, no monks in that kingdom. Because kings can do wonders. Whoever were almost getting older, they were sent to a different kingdom. If somebody is suffering from a disease, they were sent to a different kingdom. If somebody died, immediately they will move from the kingdom. There are no monks in that area. But at the age of 29 years of our prince, Siddhartha, the name of the prince is Siddhartha. Siddhartha Gautama. Then at the age of 29 years, while he was going out of the kingdom for his to visit the royal gardens, he saw one of these signs. Then that was the first time he saw. After seeing an old person, he asked the charioteer, who's that person? I've not seen him before. Then the charioteer said, he's an old person. So, like when we see old people, what we think is, so when we see old people, what we think is, we might pity that person. We might feel like helping that person. But do we think that even we might become old, we might get old and suffer like this? Does that thought occur very fast in our mind? Huh? What do you think? Do you think that we might think that, oh my goodness, even I would get older one day, I should develop a strong mind? Do we get such thoughts? Huh? Did you have that idea? No. You? No. How about you? No, right? Have. You? No. You? No. No. How about you? No. You? No. So now see, old age is not something that we're going to experience 1 or 2 days, right? So that is something miserable. So for that, we should be able to develop a confident mind. So this prince, after seeing an old person, the first thought arising in his mind was, my goodness, if I get older one day, how I'm going to survive? How I'm going to be happy even in that bad time? And if I'm born again, I'll get older one day. Then he saw an sick person. After seeing a sick person, the same thought arose in his mind. Then after seeing a dead body, he understood that means I have to give up all those things one day. And if I were to give up all these things and die, how I'm going to die peacefully having attachment towards these things? Like if you go to hospitals, we can see how people die, right? Even in very high class hospitals, even in very comfortable hospitals, still people out there are suffering and dying, right? So why they have not developed their mind? But then this prince thought, if I have to die one day, I should develop my mind. And I should overcome this miserable state again and again in life. I should not face this death again in life. So finally, after seeing a monk, he got to know that. He asked from the charioteer, what's that monk's role? Then the charioteer said, this monk is trying to have eternal happiness, lasting happiness. Then he decided to become a monk. He gave up the palace and he wanted to find a path to overcome these. First, he wanted to overcome, he wanted to develop a strong mind to face these problems with a confident mind, and also to escape from these incidents forever in future births. That was his aim. So today in this first program, what we learned was, in Buddhism as for today, our prince Siddhartha, he was born 2642 years ago. He was born in a royal family. And then for 29 years, he did not see 4 signs. What are those 4 signs? Old person, sick person, dead body, and a monk. So And after seeing those signs, for 29 years he did not see those signs, but after seeing those signs, he wanted to give up that royal happiness and gain some happiness that will be lasting. That is the final enlightenment you call Nibbana. So let's learn on the next episode what he realized and the benefits of those Dhamma. So today, by learning these wonderful teachings of the Buddha, may we have the opportunity to develop confidence on a great person like a Buddha, and learn those teachings and apply those teachings to our lives, and develop a confident mind, a strong mind to face difficulties in life and have happiness throughout our life, and gain the ultimate happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.